Process. The process, the process, the process, the process. Yeah, welcome to the process, player. You gotta trust the process, player.
Welcome to the process. I'm your host, Q, the interview. I'm back. This has been a passion of mine for a long time, since 2020. I was hitting it hard, then I fell off, then I got back on. A lot of friends of mine, say, hey, Q, what's going on with the process? I said, hey, we back, baby. We back. But not only that, man, I always want to honor business. I want to put entrepreneurs out there on why they started, how they started, and what's motivating them to keep going. What motivates me to keep going is God know that we need this in our community. We need to know information. I have a good friend of mine today, Mr. Shelby Smith. He and I have been friends since the Prairie View days back in 02, 03. And it's been a blessing to see the growth of this young man and how he has overcome challenges and trying to recreate himself and trying to stay motivated to keep on pushing. And that's what we should do in our community and in everything that we do. So today I want to thank the four podcast studio content. I messed that up, but it's all good. The four. It's going down. I really rock with them. Ty, she's been a wonderful and blessing to me. I want to shout out JT, the counseling coach. So he's doing great things in the community. But today we're talking about insurance with Mr. Shelby Smith. Bro, appreciate you being here.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having. It's a blessing and a privilege to be on this podcast.
Come on.
I seen you start this podcast years ago, and I always knew eventually, it was my goal and prayer to get on it because it's such a fantastic podcast with great, relevant content, man, that we need in our community.
Okay.
Thank you for Thank you for establishing this platform for our people, because it is definitely an added resource, and it's very much needed, brother.
Man, it's an honor,
and
man.
I'm proud of you too, bro.
Man, I'm proud of you too, man. I'm proud of you, black man.
Man, I'm proud of you.
For
black
real.
Man. You deserve your flowers too, man.
But what have you been doing?
Well, since I seen y'all, a lot of the people who watch this, I went to corporate America for a while after I left Prairie View. Business to business sales. I always was in sales. And then, we always had a family insurance business. My father started back in the 80s with Farmers Insurance as an agent.
Okay.
And then after actually being laid off in the hospital industry as a director, my mother took the baton, and she began to run it in the 90s, and she ran it. She still works there today, but she's preparing for retirement.
Okay.
But at the same time, I had to make a decision at some point to turn down a really good salary.
Okay.
And go back to the family business.
Okay, cool.
And as Dame Dash would say, hustle for my last name.
Hustle for your last
name. Not my
name.
first, man.
Man,
that's a powerful statement right there, because a lot of people, and I'm going to say this, I might step on some toes, I'm okay with it too. I'm a second generation entrepreneur, but it does require a level of selflessness.
Okay.
I had to take a pay cut to come back to the family business. But as they say, the rest is history at this point. Definitely have gotten where I needed to go with it, but I'm still young, Being 42 in business, you're still really young, man.
Okay.
We have a lot of opportunities ahead of us as a company, and I'm really excited about what we're doing. We do a lot of homeowners insurance business, auto insurance, but what I really love to talk to people about is the one that matters.
So
life insurance.
Who is R.G?
R.G. Smith. The business is named after my father. R.G.
Who is R.G?
R.G.
Yeah.
R.G. is my father was a brilliant guy.
Okay.
Actually, a Prairie View graduate as well.
Okay.
Biology, chemistry, double major.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at Exxon, the research center, while building this business. My dad was a hustler. He really had it in him like that. So working shift work at the plant.
Okay, I did that.
And those 4 days on, 4 days off, he was spending those 4 days off building an insurance business.
Okay.
So this is definitely in the spirit of my father, man. He was a real hustler.
So you saying that your dad, while he was working at Exxon, on the days off, he was building his own way.
He was hustling for his last name.
Okay,
Absolutely.
hustling for his last name.
Absolutely.
And your name of the insurance company is R.G. Smith Insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that mean to you? Because dad passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he left you with something.
Mm-hmm.
And he let not just here you go, son. He goes some money, but he go a business that you can, build on and grow on. How does that feel for you?
Man, it's priceless. To see somebody put in some work and they're not even here
Right.
anymore, and the work is still providing for his family.
Okay.
The legacy that he left with that is really powerful with that.
Okay.
It's a selfless act.
Okay.
He could have been asleep on those days,
Right.
but guess what? He had an entrepreneur's heart.
Okay.
He always used to say, you're not going to get exactly what you deserve until it's your own.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel there's a sense of pressure for you to uphold what he has built and to make it grow? Because one thing that I always ride on is never let the ships fall under your watch.
Indeed.
So how do you feel there's added pressure for you, or how are you managing it?
Man, is it pressure? Absolutely.
Okay.
But just to be honest, my sales jobs in corporate America,
Okay.
I feel a lot of pressure on those too.
Okay.
But it's a different kind of pressure. It's a sense of pride in what I do. That again, yes, it's pressure. Yes, it's very demanding. Yes, it requires a lot. However, it's a sense of pride that knowing it's mine.
Okay.
My last name is on the door.
Okay.
People calling and they're saying my dad's name. He ain't even here anymore,
Right.
but his legacy
But he with you though. He here with you.
we living through
Come
me.
on, man.
Exactly. This is his dream.
Right.
He literally says, son, your brothers, they might do other things, but I just got a feeling that
I need you.
I got a feeling it's going to be you to do it.
Come on.
I have two older brothers, very successful in their own right. I just lost one, but very successful guys in their own right. But as far as this business, I played sports growing up, but I looked at my mom at a young age and told her, I want to be a businessman.
Okay.
From day one, this is already a dream come true
Okay.
for me to be in business for myself.
Okay.
At least since my 30s, that was my goal, was to be in business for myself fully every day. By 35, I made it at 32. I've been
Okay.
doing this 10 years every day,
Okay.
10 and a half years going on, and
Every day.
every day, every day.
Any days off?
No, I'm gonna at least look at the email on Sundays or something. So that's clocking in.
Okay.
Never called in on my mother, man.
Okay.
Like we it's a beautiful situation.
That's
Now, I got a team. Team is doing great. Mom literally gets to sit there and watch.
Okay.
She's there day to day, but as far as
The foundation.
the
been laid.
foundation has been long laid, and now we're just building from where we are. But it's a beautiful part. She really just comes to talk to me now.
Okay. That's all right.
It's a blessing, man.
I'm rocking with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. How many fish plays you been a part of?
Oh man, man. Gladly enough, they know not to call me with that. But at the same time, how often do I have to hear about it? Way too often. For the price of a night out, people can prevent these fish plates. GoFundMe's when somebody dies. Let me go ahead and look in the camera. Let me look in the camera and say it's time out for that. It's time out for that, my people. It's not that we don't have the resources, because when we want to find some money for some fun, some sneakers, I got some Jordans on right now, I'm not styling, but when we want to find some money for a trip, we want to find some money for a night out. Valentine's Day, you didn't mind paying the $200 for the meal last night, $300. Mine was $250. You don't mind that. You'll go find it. But when it comes to a $40 life insurance policy, that's gonna pay $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, depending on when you get it. If you're getting one of my young colleagues 28 years old with $1 million term policy with 2 kids. $67. All right? So it's not the money. You know, we got the money, but it's our priorities. That's what it really is.
It's our priority.
But we definitely, I could preach a sermon about the GoFundMe, but I'm going to get off of that.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's time out for that, family. It's time out for that.
It's time out for that. Let's talk about it, because a lot of times we hear about insurance, life insurance, and it's a hard conversation to have, because you never want to lose your loved one, but we all have an expiration date.
Come on.
And we gonna leave this world one day.
Nobody makes it out the game alive.
Nobody makes it out. But what is it, if you're starting off or you older, what is it that we need to do to make sure that we have the necessary insurance to cover the funeral, the cremation, or I also, if I can have a little extra to pass down to my kids or to my, if you got god kids or whomever.
Yeah.
What do we need to do?
Well, first off, you need to sit down with a licensed life insurance agent. And then what we would do a needs assessment. You're gonna have to open the books. You're gonna have to get a little transparent, you know, your debt.
Okay.
You know, how much debt do you have? Okay. Your children, how old are your children? Because the point of the life insurance is definitely to provide for your children if you're gone, right? That's a piece of it. If something happens to you tomorrow, a car accident, we need to replace your salary. So we're gonna get into that type of situation. And we're gonna come up with a figure.
Okay. So, cool. So I know about term life insurance and whole life insurance. Can you kind of break or talk about that, or what does that even mean?
Excellent. Boy, this is why you the man. You
Come on now.
Great question.
Come on.
All right. Term life insurance is cheaper. You can get more coverage for it, but at the same time, it's only for a specified period of time. That also presents a risk. What if you outlive the term? You might be paying $50 a month if you got it at a young age, but then if it's a 30-year term, you're 30 years old when you bought it, you find yourself at age 60, unless you convert, we'll talk about that in another whole situation, but if you ride the term out, there is a chance that you'll outlive the term, and just my illustration, be 60 years old, maybe not as healthy, maybe uninsurable, may have had a cancer situation, may have had a heart attack, stroke, because at that age, whatever your habits are, they're starting to show up in your health at that point.
Okay.
So it's a risk, but definitely it helps you get as much coverage as you can. So whole life, it is more expensive, but it's more of a set it and forget it kind of thing, okay? I like to write policies that have whole life and term, okay? Both. I have some hybrid policy. That's why we need to sit down. That's a jewel I'm dropping. You can actually get both in the same policy. A whole life policy. Let's say we do $50,000 for whole life. And then I can put a 20-year term on the same policy for $1 million. So that means you got $1 million for 20 years while your kids are young, while your family is growing. But as they get out and become grown, that need for you to insure yourself for that amount is going away. They getting their own jobs. They're about to start their own family. They need to insure themselves to provide for their own kids when they leave. But during that period, the critical period, you got $1 million worth of coverage, and you're ready for whatever.
Okay.
Generational wealth, paying off bills, all of that's happening. And I just told you, if you got it young enough, $67 a month. You're healthy enough, $80 a month. You know, just depends.
At what age do you think that is the right age to start, get life insurance?
Out the womb.
Out the womb?
Because it's the cheapest it'll ever be. However, you can get a child's, I'm going to say, I'll just use one of my carriers.
That's my question.
That's a great question. Mutual of Omaha, I'll just throw one of my carriers that I write policies through. Mutual of Omaha will insure a baby, I think it's 14 days old.
Oh, okay.
20, 30, 40,000, believe it or not, children do die. I know y'all don't think children die.
They do.
Y'all don't realize that, but children die. We're talking about $7, $10, $15, $50,000, $20 a month, That's the price of lunch one day,
Okay.
or night out. So yes, they need some coverage then, but then it's gonna have to be revisited. At worst, if you have a policy, term policy, whole life policy, you can do a children's rider on it.
A children's
A
rider.
children's rider on it. So 30,000, it'll cover every child you have. You don't even have to list the children. So they're covered that way. But the children need coverage from day one. All right?
Okay.
So there is no, oh, let's wait. You just don't know what can happen. There are little caskets in the mortuary too.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's a really important piece.
Okay.
But I would say that's the conversation to have some coverage. But when you get 20 and you start having children, you get 30 and you start having children, it needs to be revisited.
Okay.
You need to have a conversation because not only are you covering yourself for your death insurance, are you leaving a legacy? Are you leaving bills?
Mhm.
Are you leaving a lot of debt?
Mhm.
So the moment you have kids or even start thinking about planning a family, I don't even have a family.
Mhm.
I had enough. I mean, this is the education I've had just from being an insurance agent, but I have enough insurance right now on my life already for when my kids get here, and I got it younger so
Okay.
that I can pay the cheaper amount.
Got you.
You see what I mean? You're going to need it. You might as well get it. If you're
Okay.
30, 40, those are the prime years. If you're going to get $1 million, you can afford it. You've gotten a little longer in your career, you can afford it. All right? 30s and 40s, if you have 2, 3 kids, young kids, there's no reason why you shouldn't have at least $1 million worth of term.
I never thought of that.
This is why we had these conversations.
Yes, because
brother.
I currently don't have insurance on my kids.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
But talking with you, I will be working with you to get Sean and Quincy some insurance on them. And another thing that I've heard about is even though we're talking about life insurance, are you able to pull out your life insurance
Yeah.
for anything? Or?
Man, you're asking great questions, brother. So, absolutely, not a term policy. Let's say it
It's
like
whole
this.
life?
Whole life and universal life. You might be hearing about a popular product that's coming along that's called an IUL, an Index Universal Life or a whole life. So let's treat it like this. Term is like renting insurance.
Okay. What if?
What if? You can get more of it, but at the same time, you don't get the equity that you're paying in.
Okay.
It's like you're renting a house. You're paying every month. You have a roof covered. You have coverage
Okay.
for a certain amount, right? But at the same time, that money is the insurance company's money.
Okay.
All right. So if we go whole life or universal life, maybe an IUL, and I'm not gonna get too deep into this. This ain't for everybody, but the whole life is more of a set it and forget it kind of situation.
Okay.
Okay. The whole life has equity in it, as in just like you asked. I can literally set it up to where you're funding your whole life policy aggressively. There are people that use their whole life policies to take a loan against to make a real estate play.
Okay.
All right. So you're building the cash value. That's the difference. Cash value life insurance, whole life, universal life. That money, you can actually at some point surrender the policy and get a cash out. There is no cash out with a term policy unless it's a return of premium, and they're starting to go away with return of premiums. Okay.
Okay.
So in most cases, most terms, it's dead money to the insurance company.
Okay.
It's coverage, but then if you want some equity, you want to be able to take a $20,000 loan. You want to be able to look up in your retirement and say, you know what, I want to get $1,000 a month retirement income.
Okay.
All of that is possible in a whole life or a universal life policy. Building the cash value up there, literally people with $1 million in their whole life policy versus their 401k. Why? Why? Because the 401k, when you take it out before 59 and a half, tax. Early withdrawal penalty and tax. You take it out after you're 59 and a half, you're still paying tax. And one of my jobs was at AIG working in the retirement services center, servicing 403Bs, 401Ks.
Okay.
So that money coming out is tax.
Okay.
All right. Life insurance proceeds is tax-free money. Let's say it again. I'm gonna look in both cameras. Life insurance proceeds, tax-free money. Accessing your life insurance cash through whole life, through the cash value through a loan, you can pay yourself back with interest. And now I'm going to give you a little tidbit. You literally become your own bank. You don't have to apply for a loan. You literally can, if you build your cash value up aggressively, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, you're really looking to grow cash value like that. When it's time to buy a car, you can literally take a loan against your own cash value. Pay it off.
Okay.
People are paying their houses off early. Yeah. People are using the cash value in their life insurance to make extra payments on their mortgage to pay their houses off faster.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a lot you can do with it.
Another thing that you and I had talked about, we talked about like having life insurance. We should have it. And, you know, things change because people are having heart attacks at 40.
Yeah.
People are having cancer at 30 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can have a two people household, but then something happened that goes down to one.
Indeed.
You know, is there any type of insurance that kind of aids with that or helps?
Absolutely. So on each of these policies I spoke about, they have basic term. When I say basic term, it doesn't have all the frills and thrills. It's just you're paying a dollar amount, and that's it. But then in the last 10 or 15 years, they've come out with what are called living benefits. What do you mean, Shelby? Okay. Living benefits are actually things that the policyholder can benefit from while they're alive. We really just think of life insurance as death insurance.
Okay.
I'm showing you all the things that this thing can do for you while you're alive if we had the education. So, quick illustration. Let's say, for instance, I have a $100,000 term policy. All right? $100,000 term policy. $100,000 whole life. It's the same idea. And I have living benefits on it. It's going to cover me for chronic illnesses, meaning my occupation left me debilitated. I can't brush my teeth. I can't perform what they call at least 2 activities of daily living, brushing my teeth, feeding myself. I can't do that. It'll actually have a payout while you're alive to be able to afford some care because you're going to need some care, right? If you have a heart attack, a critical illness, heart attack, certain cancers, a stroke, for this $100,000, there are policies that will advance you 50% of your coverage to you, not your beneficiaries, to you while you're alive. So in my illustration, $100,000, you call the insurance company up. Hey, I had a debilitating heart attack. Can't work right now. All right? They will advance you, and some or more. I'm on the low end with the 50%.
Okay.
I got one that advanced me 80. So $50,000 in your account, no tax, a few fees to the insurance company for the privilege, not a lot. But what would it be if you can't work and you get a check in the mail from the insurance company from your life insurance policy for a critical illness for $50,000? What is that going to do for you? That's an injection of cash. You're not working, so I can go to rehab. I can heal without having all of
the worry.
Yeah. I can have some peace of mind.
Right.
And know that the bills are going to get paid even while my monthly
I'm on my sick bed.
income. I'm on my sick bed, but my income is not coming in, but I actually have money to be able to pay bills, to be able to still provide while I am in recovery.
Right.
It's a powerful thing.
Because that's a real big issue because, you know, once you get sick, you kind of feeling bad about yourself, and you know these bills coming in, and you have these certain people helping you out. They checking on you, ask you, let me know if you need something, and you stress, and it's kind of taken away from you trying to heal.
Exactly. I got some stats for you. Okay. 53%. Now this is from, if you on my Facebook or Instagram, Shelby the Insurance Man #1. I did these. I was doing lives. I did about 48 lives out of 52 weeks 3 years ago, and this is from one of my presentations doing the research and the stats. 119 million households in the U.S. 7 out of 10 households rely on 2 incomes.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. 53% of foreclosures on a house are caused by a death or a disability. Yes. People losing that loved one. And then a month later, they're having to sell the house because we got this on 2 incomes.
Okay.
I can't afford the mortgage by myself. You've been putting your half in. We've been going 50-50. Joke. But yes. No, we've been going 50-50. We halving it up. And now I'm missing your 50. I can't afford this. So that's really how we're not securing the wealth. We're not passing it on to the next generation. And then once we get in the dream house, making sure that we can afford it. 1 income. Okay? Or if you can't afford it 1 income, just making sure we have something in place. Disability insurance. There's insurance for heart attack, cancer, stroke, just by itself to prevent that.
Okay.
All right? So these conversations are just really important. This is why I do what I do. Homeowners insurance, great. Auto insurance, great. But these conversations are literally generation-altering conversations.
Okay.
Making sure the house gets to the trust. That's a whole nother talk.
Oh, yeah.
Get into the trust.
Okay.
The will that we don't like to do, the trust that we don't like to do to set up these things. Okay, you're gonna have an estate. Can you afford the taxes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just those types of conversation. Will your kids be able to afford the taxes?
Okay.
That type of conversation.
What's the difference between a trust and a will?
Trust and a will. A will is what you want to happen. A trust is actually legally binding. You have to go to a lawyer, sit down and talk. You can put your assets in a trust. It's more formalized than a will. Okay. You can write a will on a piece of paper. This is what I wish to happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But sit down with a trust attorney. I know a trust attorney. Great trust attorney if you need a referral. But I won't even do their work. But by and large, it's how you protect your assets, make sure the assets are getting to the next generation. You're deciding, and then if you have retirement accounts and money on the line, you can even have your life insurance pay the trust as a beneficiary.
The life insurance?
Your life insurance can be set up to pay a trust.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to give you $1 million worth of game right now.
Come on.
Really quick.
Real quick.
How powerful would it be if you had $500,000 payout, you took half of it and paid the beneficiaries, $250,000 to the beneficiaries, and left the other $250,000 to be managed by an attorney, and y'all have this money in a fidelity account. It can't be touched. Next generation, somebody dies. Guess what they do? The same thing. Half of their life insurance to their beneficiaries, the other half to a trust. So if 4 or 5 people are doing this in one generation, you're going to have $1 million. And it's just growing.
Okay.
So what about if the next generation does this? Same as you can put it in the trust that they actually need life insurance to pay the trust. This is what our big giants are doing. Johnson & Johnson, Charles Schwab, these big companies that were started early 1900s, their descendants, J.P. Morgan Chase, their descendants have trusts. It's a powerful thing. Money going, you have to fund the trust. Have a way to fund the money for the trust. But at the same time, we have the money. We're just not having the education. We're not setting these things up properly.
Okay. So would you recommend a trust versus a will?
Absolutely. It could be in conjunction with a
Could be.
will. It can be in conjunction with a will. But I would say this: you can do a lot more and you can make a lot more. And these are your wishes as well, but you can set up more on a trust than you can a will. They have to probate your will.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Got to probate your will.
What's probate?
That is the attorneys, depending on what it is. But you have descendants. They're going to sit down. You guys are going to sit down and make some decisions based on the assets and the liabilities, to keep it simple.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but probate, who gets what? It's going to be a conversation. If there are liens on the house, all that's going to have to be taken care of.
Okay.
You know, y'all going to go do business with the attorneys based on the descendant, how many descendants the person who died has, the assets they have. If they don't have any assets, it ain't really much to talk about.
Ain't much to talk about.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
Yeah, but if it's assets, houses, things of that nature, descendants, you know, you guys are going to have to sit down and have some conversations. And hopefully that was already decided in a will,
Okay.
in a trust, what you want to happen, but still going to have to sit down and have some conversation.
Okay. Hey, man, that's some good, that's great information. A lot of gems.
Yes.
That's a lot of gems.
Yeah, I don't want to overload y'all, but it is, I just want to give y'all enough to understand, like, it's a better way.
It's a better way.
It's a better way than what we're doing this.
How often are we as Black Americans coming to you about this? How often do you see us come to you?
By and large, when I do podcasts like this, when I do live, it does pique people's interest. But by and large, sadly enough, the thing that triggers people to come to me and have these conversations is they know somebody dying on a GoFundMe. That's the most.
Okay.
It scares them into reality.
Mhm.
GoFundMe, fish plate type situation. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to go out like that.
Okay.
You know, I don't, and that triggers the conversation. But by and large,
You say by and large.
by and large, that's not the. I mean, that is the reason. That's what's triggering
Okay.
a conversation or a phone call to me.
Okay.
But I would say, I would love to hear these calls come for generational wealth, leaving a legacy. That's generally not what they're calling for. I hate to say it. I'm having to teach about this before we can get into these conversations. It's not that, hey, I got these kids and I just want to leave them X amount. I want to make sure I'm set up. That's not the phone call most of the time. Most of the phone call is, you know what? I just had to pay for a funeral. Or I know somebody just had to pay for a funeral cash and I don't have life insurance. Or I want to make sure I got enough because I don't want to go through that. That's the conversation. It's not very many conversations that are starting, hey, I got kids. I want to make sure they set up. I want to leave some generational wealth. That's not how it's come. It's my prayer that conversations like this, my brother, between you and I, you know, will lead to those kind of conversations. But that's by and large not what's calling my line. When I get a phone call about life insurance, most of the time something has happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's almost like a scared straight.
It really
But
is.
you know, we do know a lot of successful people who are doing great things, and we rarely in our conversation talk about, hey, bro, you got life insurance?
Nobody wants to talk about
Nobody
dying.
wants to talk about it, or nobody wants to share the information, because it's a scary thing to say. Yeah, I'm planning for my death or this, that, and the other. We don't look at. I haven't looked at it as a generation wealth for my kids.
Yeah.
But I just make sure that I don't leave debt behind for them to take on my burdens.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be getting with you about life insurance for them and make sure I have the right stuff, because nobody likes to go to the car dealership and you have a warranty, and as soon as something happens, oh yeah, your warranty expired 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, man, I done paid all this time and now I
Man.
can't, you know. So yeah, I think this is a very important conversation. How can people reach you?
You can reach me on all platforms. I am on Facebook, Shelby Smith. I am on Instagram, at Shelby, the Insurance Man, the number 1. That is my Instagram profile. I can be reached by phone. My office hours, 9 to 5.
Okay, Red. Okay, Red.
9 a.m. to 5.
Also, do you have anything else going on?
Yeah,
What you
definitely
got,
has some
bro?
going on. It just launched. In addition to this, love music. Been involved in music a lot as well. Just launched a platform for creatives, Rhythm and Soul Collective. We just did our first showcase last month to a packed house. I couldn't be more excited about that. Giving artists a platform to an amateur artist, and eventually it might end up being some nationwide recording artists, but giving them a platform, poets, singers, comedians, to be able to showcase their talents and be featured. You know, it's a lot of talented people in Houston. What I found is it's just kind of like a little niche of people, you know, that are doing most of the shows. So I launched this platform to give other people an opportunity to be able to display their talents as well.
Okay. And what's the name of your band or your artist? What do you go by?
So right now I'm Willie Murphy.
William Murphy.
Yeah, he's still here, man.
Okay.
We obviously, you know, Sean. We did some music at PV.
They don't even know me and
know.
Sean.
Yeah.
They don't even know me and Sean.
Cute, you know what I'm saying?
Cute the interview.
You know what I'm saying?
That's me.
We did, you know, that's how long I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, all the way since PV, man. Shout out to my boy Q Smith on the beat. You know,
Yeah.
we've been making music. So I'm just kind of getting back to that piece, though. It's really healthy space. It's definitely a great alternative to the stress of being in business, man. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's coming. I can't wait to see where the platform goes.
Right. Hey, you gotta give a shout out to Mama though.
Man.
You ain't said her name at all, but that's disrespectful, bro.
Man.
That ain't even what's up.
What's up to my mom, Miss Esther?
Uh-huh.
I couldn't be more grateful for her taking the family business on and doing what she did and kind of holding it down until I was ready to be where I am today to
Right.
take it over from her. But shout out to my mom, shout out to my family. I appreciate y'all.
Pops.
Pops. rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
to a real
Rest
one.
in peace to a real one, man. A Prairie View man.
Come on.
R.G. Smith, my father. And it's just beautiful, again, to walk in and people. We saying R.G. Smith Insurance Agency, and he, you know, he's still living on through us every day. It's a blessing, man.
Generational wealth.
And let me get I gotta give you your flowers, my brother.
What happened, my boy?
Can I give you your flowers, brother?
I take them all.
Man, like, say, man,
Shit.
Q, I want to tell you how proud of you I am, bro.
Man, appreciate you.
Like, you have a phenomenal platform. Just from even seeing afar, you're a phenomenal father. You know what I'm saying? You have the boys. You got the jumping business. You got them out there working young.
Yeah, they work.
I'm being honest, that's literally half the battle to make them want to get into family entrepreneurship.
Right.
I was a file clerk at the office before I could get a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So them little things, it seems small, but
They add up.
that's really planting that into them like that.
Okay.
That if they work, they can have something. But, brother, I couldn't be more
No,
proud
not
of you.
if they could work.
No.
They
When
gonna
they work,
They gonna work.
he got one of them houses.
Yeah, work
That's why I
around
can't-
here,
I was pushing them over before I was.
Shoot.
Oh man, I pushed them over at 56th grade, bro.
Oh yeah.
I come from one of them houses
Yeah.
too. Everybody in the house workaholics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we breed. You know where I'm at. So now you got them working already.
Yeah.
They out there going to do what they need to do. But
Yeah.
you know, I couldn't be more proud of the platform. I see the work that you do in the community with the. You know,
This is 2K5 Foundation with
hey, man,
everything live.
that's still that. Hey,
We had did music together.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Shout out
Like,
Jason Hood.
bro, I just seen you bring 40 brothers together, wasn't it?
I did
For
bring
a dinner?
Yeah, for a dinner.
Celebrate achievements.
Yeah.
Be able to synergize and
Yeah.
have real conversations
We matter.
with other black men, successful black men.
Yeah.
Let me get some damn.
My boy.
That's
Hey, man.
that's a powerful thing.
Shelby, man, I thank you for those flowers, man. It's been an honor to have you to talk about the information, the gems that you dropped. It has been great. I hope that the people out here watch the whole podcast and tune in and take what he has put down, and for y'all to pick up and give him a call or reach out to him to get you some life insurance, or get your mama for some life insurance, or your brother, your cousin,
Kids,
your
grandkids,
kids.
too.
That is major. And I also, again, I want to thank the Four for allowing me to shoot here. It has been a great experience. I look to have more podcasts here with you guys. And I also want to just shout out to my family. Without y'all, man, I don't know, man. But once again, I'm your host. This is The Process. I'm your host, Q the Interview, and we're checking out.